And I'm sure you get this question a lot. One person that I'm curious that you learned from is Elon Musk, who I know that you have a long relationship with from your days working at PayPal. What are some of the lessons that you learned from speaking to him? And also, another one of our next 1,000 judges, Melody Hobson.
Mm.
Would love to hear some of those takeaways.
So Elon, the principal thing actually, when you look at where Elon has been just like 100 out of 10 successful and pulling off magic tricks, is going against bad competition, right? So the auto industry, basically buried electric cars because they wanted to just keep their franchise going, and so kind of getting out of the pack, doing electric cars, moving from a mechanical engineering paradigm to a software paradigm, an electric paradigm, was one of the things that kind of stunning. Obviously, similar things around rockets and having these companies that had spent decades doing no R&D. And then with Melody, there's a whole stack of things. I mean, we kind of Melody has such deep expertise and a learning approach to boards, and boards are so important. So there's a whole bunch of things about how to onboard board members and how to have the right kind of set of board perspectives in order to have the right kind of governance. And then, of course, Melody's iconic thing is, don't think about diversity as something you want as blindness, like, oh, we don't see race, oh, we don't see gender, but to bring it in a way that makes you higher performance. And Melody has a set of great points on that. Some of it we captured on the podcast, some of which obviously in our iconic TED Talk. But those would be just two of these the many mentors that I have as I learn.
Awesome. And so one of the questions that I get a lot when I'm speaking to founders who are like, okay, well, I can't get in front of the Greylocks or the Sequoias or the other big VCs. What do they tell you? Well, how do they determine which ideas are worth investing in? How do I get on their radar as a business? Are there certain criteria that you have to meet?
Well, so I mean, look, the classic course is a massive market, a new unique plan shot on it, technological shift and plan, and then the right kind of entrepreneurial skills and team to potentially pull off these heroic journeys. And one of the challenges, of course, when dealing with VCs is, your average general partner at a top tier firm will look at 800 deals a year and say yes to up to 2 of them. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of this challenge. And then by the way, have thousands come in. So the usual thing is that, like, why is at least the area that I look at is, why is the thing that you're thinking about contrarian, but potentially right? Right. Mm-hmm. So like people, it's not quite in the beaten path. Like, mm-hmm. your inbox gets full of, it's AI, but for board games, right? You're like, okay, like everyone in the world is AI these days. So what's your unique thing that's really mm-hmm. interesting at scale that other people think, well, maybe that's not a good idea, but if it turns out to be a good idea, might be an amazing idea, right? Which is one of the things that attracted me to Airbnb in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that it evokes a specific feeling, or is it exclusively also based on a company's ability to scale and, overall market opportunity?
Well, you have to have a theory by which it can be huge. It's simply not worth there. Like, again, in that kind of saying yes to up to 2 out of 800, you have to have, like, it could be huge. Sometimes it's because, oh, this person has this really unique access and has this amazing talent, and we'll do because Greylock, we do a lot of very seed investing, and so that frequently is, there's a vision, an envelope, like a napkin, and like 3 people with an idea, and then how do you build it? But sometimes it's like there's a technological change that technological change is going to transform one or more industries, and you're at the leading edge of that technological change. You have a unique ability to understand how that's going to affect an industry. Again, Airbnb is an example. But there's many examples of that. Similarly, Zynga or LinkedIn or others, PayPal, and so those are the kinds of things that you would kind of look at. And frequently, the thing is, be very ambitious, but don't be ambitious in a way that this will be huge. You're like, no. Why will it be huge? What's the theory of the game? What's the insight that you have that would lead this to being huge that many other smart people wouldn't have?